As I recall, Confucius actually has said one time, the education breeds confidence, and confidence breeds hope. Hope breeds peace. And this is so important because Confucius actually born and came from your hometown, your home province in China. So the mission of Shin Shin Educational Foundation, with that in the background, is the fact that we actually have a very simple, easy to understand mission statement. That is, because of the effort by all of us, that we like to find ways to reduce the educational disparity between rural and the metropolitan areas in China. Since 1997, now we're talking about, we're actually walking to 19th years now. We have helped to reconstruct 342 public schools, mainly elementary schools in rural China. For the last 18 years, in terms of the supporting rebuilt schools, and after built schools are rebuilt or renovated, we actually continue to help them for a number of educational programs and projects, not only hardware but also the soft type of educational programs such as teachers training, libraries, the e-learning project, for instance. So total amount of grants of maybe the donations that we have actually provided to those 342 schools is more than $10 million already. We have been doing 11 years of English and computer training programs so far. So we have about close to 2,000 teachers being trained through this training programs. Then we're also providing the libraries. We have a library project, and all of the 340 for those 342 schools, every school has been benefit from the library project. In other words, every school that to be part of it, to be supported by Shin Shin Educational Foundation, they have received books. They have received all books-related materials such as bookshelves, for instance, even computers, for instance, to allow them to keep track of who actually borrowed, who actually returned the books. And so we have just on the books alone, we have actually provided more than 200,000 books to those 340 schools already. And we have provided close to 250 schools with computer equipments. I have visited more than 100 schools out of 340 schools. So it's about a slightly less than a third, because you have to realize those schools are in rural China. It is not like we travel to China, to Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou, and Shenzhen, the big cities. In fact, when we travel to those rural schools, we typically fly to a large city, and from there we took a bus, we took a car, and drive maybe 3-4 hours away from the city, and then walk sometimes quite a bit of distance into the schools. So it's not easy. It's quite challenging to visit those schools. However, it is very important. In order to do the work we do effectively, we have to understand what's really the true environment and the situation, the needs they are. Not only that we like to find out what's the true pictures are over there, but we also like to bring love to those teachers, to those kids, because as you can imagine, those kids live in the countryside. They rarely see anybody from the cities, let alone people or visitors from other countries across the big ocean, right? So for us to visit them, we not only try to understand what their real needs are, but we also want to bring our love to them. We believe that's going to make a huge difference, not only the immediate reaction, but I think that they're going to remember the love coming from the people who concern about their well-being from so far, such a long distance far away. It's going to be with them for the rest of their lives. So we hope one day when they are able, when they are capable, we hope they learn, remember what the experience they have, they will also help others. Cupertino has a school district, and one time that I was very much involved in that particular project, that is renovating local elementary school and middle school as part of the school district project. And the budget of that particular renovation of 25 schools, 20 elementary and 5 middle schools, the budget was $100 million renovating the schools. And what the student get actually is one piece of a hot dog, Chinese version hot dog, and one bag of instant noodle. So then our immediate reaction was that, is that all for you for lunch? We're talking about an elementary school kids. We're talking about 7, 8 years, 9 years old boy and girls. They need food to grow, right? That's all they have. Then we said, how are you gonna, then let's help you to get hot water for your instant noodle. There's no water. Because the water is such a scarce commodity over there because of the region. So water is not available. So I said, how are you gonna eat this hot dog and instant noodle? Hot dog, obviously, they peel the plastic shield and they eat hot dog. The instant noodle, they just chew on a dry instant noodle. That's their lunch they have. I couldn't help that. When I saw that, tear was in my eyes. I just couldn't help. I said, oh, we've been helping the schools for certain things they need, but there's so much more they need us to help. Just like here in the United States, local education many times was supported by the local. And if the local does not have the kind of resources, then the education will suffer. To this day, I still remember. This is a school that we visited in Liaoning province, which is the northeast part of China. Again, we provide them with basic necessities. And during the lunchtime, the principal invited us to have lunch with him and together with a few teachers. And we thought that was an honor, because evidently they feel embarrassed to invite any visitor to eat with them, because it's in such a poor village. So we're very honored to be there. And so they prepare the food all grow from the backyard. So if we're talking about organic food, those are completely organic. And we're very happy. We had a wonderful meal. And with only one dish, which is come with a chicken, which is the chicken they raise in the backyard. All other things are all vegetable. But we had such a good meal there. So after the meal, then we walk up to the principal and thank the principal to give us to give us such a wonderful meal and share with us their lives, basically. What I realized was that his hands was very, very, very rough. I immediately realized that during the day when the school is open, when the kids are learning, he was the principal. When the kids goes home after school, he actually works just like a farmer. He has to grow everything himself. So he then made a comment. He said, we very appreciate that you traveled this far to come to our village, to come to my school, to help us to fulfill, to furnish some of the needs that we have. But most important is your love you bring to the kids. They will never forget about it. While he was saying that, I held his hand, rough hand. My tear just came down. You can imagine how tough a life that he had, that he's willing to stay on. And what we do actually is a very small thing, relatively compared to what he does, to educate, to help, to give the kids a good, decent education for therefore when they grow up, they can become a very able person. But what he's saying is that the kind of love and kindness we bring to the kids really touched my heart so much. To this day, I still remember. I still remember his hand. I remember his face. We all believe in our mission. And the Shin Shin Educational Foundation, I think we have such a compelling reasons that why we believe this organization has to be around. What impact we're making. And by visiting the schools, by travel to the rural China, seeing the kids getting the slightly better education, see their smiling face, their happy face. The reason I think it's not really that, again, I appreciate you use the word of it's a miracle, we're very successful, but I think there's so much more to be done. It's all because of the strong team that we have. Not only the team, it's actually the volunteers we have, but also supporters. In fact, education is such a special field, and we simply cannot do everything on our own. So we have many partners. We're here in the United States, we have many partners. We are working with you, for instance, with Shandong Association as our partner. We're partnering with a Rotary organization, Rotary International. We partner with Google. We partner with many reputable, famous educational institutions in China. So because we believe in what we do, and we believe in that we can make the change, we can make the difference. That's how we get through those challenges, we come to where we are today. There's an author, his name is Robert Byrne. He's an author, I think he's about 85 years old. He made a simple comment, easy to remember. He said, the purpose of life is life of purposes. We have to keep on reminding, I have to keep on reminding myself, we have to keep on reminding ourselves, what's the purpose of life? Is it just to have the meal on the table? Absolutely, that's number one. You gotta have meal on the table. Without that, nothing is real, right? You have the family you have to take care of, absolutely. We're so fortunate to live in this country. We're so fortunate that we are able to bring our kids in this environment. Now what else? There are so many needy people, children out there. The fact of the matter is that China has a 1.3 billion population, and that's about 1/5 of world population. Part of the reason why that we have such a wonderful partnership with Rotary International, because Rotary International is a worldwide organization. They want to help people that they're in need, no matter which part of the corner in the world we're talking about. And so from that standpoint of view, if we can address the educational issue for those poor villagers in China, we actually address world issue now. Because 1/5 of the population happen to live in that part of the world, right? So I say, purpose of life is what? Is we want to have a life with purposes. And so we keep on reminding ourselves that no matter how big a small thing, how big or how small a thing we do, what's the purpose of it? We want to bring everybody together. We want to have our next generation have a better life than what we have. That's exactly, that just reminds me that Mark Zuckerberg, when he wrote that letter to their daughter, that's exactly about a month ago, early December. And the letter was very long, but in essence, they just want to have their daughter to live in a better world than what we have today. That's just it. That says them all. That's how we motivate ourselves to continue to work under Shin Shin Educational umbrella, work with many like-minded people and organizations to address those educational needs in rural China. Music, sports, and they're all very important part of the well-rounded development. And so this particular competition, the talent competition to be held that soon, I think will give the kids the opportunity to showcase that they truly understand what the meaning of a well-rounded personality, right? So I think this event is so important. I think we all should clap our hand to congratulate the organization to support this event to come together and give the kids the platform, the opportunity to demonstrate what they have learned to all of us. And I think this is a wonderful event. I just so much look forward to seeing this event to be happening in about a couple of months' time. I think I have a personal 10-year goal. My 10-year goal is that, by the way, that we typically don't talk about age, right? This is a custom or this is a tradition, but I don't mind to share with you. I'm 70 years old, and why I say 10 years is that I want to continue to be very actively involved in Shin Shin Educational Foundation for 10 more years. When I'm 80 years old, I still want to be very actively involved. That's my personal goal. And by the way, I want to add a comment in Chinese if I may do that.
Sure.
Right? We have a Shin Shin Educational Foundation has a model in Chinese. Right? It says 只要放一点温馨在教育上，就能造福许多孩子的一生。只要给孩子们一点机会，他们就可能开创美好的将来，一代就会比一代更好。In other words, if we give the children just a little bit of kindness and love, and we're going to make their life so much better. If we give them just a little bit of opportunity, and they can create a better future, and the next generation will be better than this one. One after that will be better than the next one. That's in essence of the Chinese saying.